What is up, you guys? It is Nisha Michelle, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be reading your Reddit confessions. In my last video, I read Am I the A-hole confessions on Reddit, but this time we're going to read actual Reddit confessions. It's a subreddit on Reddit called Confession. It's basically a place where people confess to things that they may have done in their life. They confess to wrongdoings, and some of these are really unhinged. I've been trying to figure out what is going on. So that's what we're gonna do today. But you know, every day we have a verse of the day because our God is great. So the verse of the day is actually from the Bible app. It's from Luke 12:15, and it reads, "And he said to them, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness. For one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." And that is on period. My God is amazing. So without further ado, we're gonna get straight into the video. Y'all know I got my handy dandy iPad because I'm gonna keep one on me. I also got my phone too, so we coming with double trouble, baby, double trouble. The first confession that we're gonna get into today, it reads, "I stole $100 from my job and never got caught." First of all, you're a thief. But let's just see. I mean, maybe you had a good reason for it. I hope so. But you're a thief. So I was young and dumb and going through a rough time financially. I had a job as a manager at a college campus restaurant. Most of the workers were students, including foreign exchange students that were sometimes unfamiliar with the American currency. You manipulative. What? Meaning there were often a lot of errors, especially at times when a new round of students would come in from semester to semester. Every night the manager, me in parentheses, took out the drawers and went to the office to count it. Idiotically, the office did not have any security cameras, and you can guess how easy it was to fudge a few dollars here and there.
She banking on me on the back.
I'm normally a very trustworthy person, and I regret being desperate enough to do that. First of all, I just feel like it's so wrong because you were the manager. They thought that you were better than everybody else in some aspects, so for you to go and steal money, and it don't say that you were broke or anything. I mean, you was in college, but you obviously had a job. I mean, I just feel like people, we get further if we do the right things in life, you know? I had to learn that myself. I ain't gonna lie. But we get further if we do the right things in life. And you, my dear, you're a thief. Repent of your sins and ask the Lord for forgiveness. Okay, period. I also feel like the fact that they didn't have security cameras is not the smartest thing to do. I will give you that. But also, we gotta do the right things even when nobody is watching. So you still shouldn't have stole that money. And that's crazy. Because it says I stole hundreds of dollars from my job and never got caught. You're a thief. Jail time. Immediate jail time. So moving on to the next confession, it reads, "I chewed up every square millimeter of an entire pencil to shreds in 5th grade, then stuck it in the back of a pencil jar for the class."
Okay.
That's disgusting. That's nasty. You also need to go to jail. I mean, just off rip for that. And first of all, what is this? Like, what are we doing? Eating pencil? You gonna get lead poisoning, babe? Let's get into it. It says, "We had this jar in 5th grade full of pencils that anyone could use when they needed a pencil, and I took one and chewed every bit of the pencil to the point that it looked like Freddy Krueger, but as a pencil." Actually worse, it was just mangled shreds. You could not even make it out as a pencil. It shouldn't have legally counted as a pencil. It looked like it had been through every world war. It's a little bit problematic. It was gruesome to look at. I then stuck it in the back of the jar of pencils, ready for some children to use the mangled pencil.
Why?
But the teacher found it before any of the kids did, and she lined us up and tried to force a confession out of whoever the horrible monster that mutilated the pencil was. She was infuriated, especially that this incident should occur at our big age. I did not confess. I stood my ground. To this day, no one but 2 people in that class knows I'm the one who stuck the terrifyingly mutilated pencil back in the jar for everyone to enjoy. Like I said, that's a bit problematic. That's definitely a bit problematic. I don't know why you did that. It's giving Jeffrey Dahmer, but for school supply. That's really what it's giving, because what possessed you in your brain? I mean, 5th grade, you were old enough to know better than to do that. So what possessed you in your brain to do that? What makes you think that that's okay? What even led you to the point where you was like, I'm gonna get a pencil and I'm just gonna eat it and I'm gonna mutilate it and I'm gonna put it back in the jar so somebody could use it?
Yeah, he's nuts.
That's weird. You're weird. I ain't even gonna lie, I don't even be trying to do too much. It's a little weird. All right, so let's get into confession number 3. It says, I lied to my teacher about my father being terminally ill to get an extension. That made my nose itch. Me personally, I never like to lie about family members. Like, I'll stretch the truth a little bit, but I never like to completely lie about family members and stuff like this. I feel like it can get a bit serious, and I feel like if I put that out into the universe, it might happen. So I don't do that. But let's get into why you did it. So it says, a few years ago, I walked into my classroom in the morning. I had been recently upset due to a relationship problem. I get it. And my eyes were red from crying. My teacher, whom I was much fond of, approached me to ask why I hadn't handed in a huge assignment that had been due on that day. Frantically, not wanting to disappoint my teacher or bring down my grades, I decided to use my puffy eyes to my advantage. Manipulation. The first thing I could come up with was, my dad might have lung cancer. I just found out.
You what?
My teacher's harsh expression immediately melted into a sympathetic smile. She told me I can get as much time as I needed, and I thanked her. From that day until I graduated the year, said teacher was constantly asking me about my family situation, and I felt so heavily guilty about having lied about such a serious matter just to get out of doing work. I would have felt guilty too, I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, that's not something I like to do. I just don't like to put stuff like that out in the universe. I feel like that's problematic. Your reasoning wasn't necessary. Like, if you ain't had the homework, or the project, you just ain't had the homework or the project. That's just what it boiled down to, baby. Like, you're gonna have to get them time management skills, them priorities together, because you lying. Nicki Minaj lying on your... That was problematic. If you know, you know. But your father wasn't dead. So we're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on to the next confession. Alright, so this one doesn't seem as bad. It's probably something that I would do. I haven't read it yet, but I feel like it's something that I would probably do. I feel like I know what they're gonna say, and it's something that I would probably do. I ain't gonna lie. So it says, I bumped into a parked car trying to do a 3-point turn on a narrow street under construction about a month ago. About a week ago. Alright, and then we tweak it.
What?
The fact that you're telling us the time period, don't do that, babe. Don't do that next time, babe. They probably got cameras over there. Don't do that, babe. Okay, so it says, there was definitely a dent. Not a big dent, but a dent. I felt bad, but the owners weren't home, and there was construction equipment anyway, so the workers could have... It says the workers could have done it. I swear I was like the imposter on Among Us, where I just drive away quickly onto the main street. So it's impossible I was there when it happened. I know it sounds horrible, but if nobody was there, then nobody knows what happened, and I'm the only one who knows. So bam. That's... I mean... I would have did too, but the fact that you off rip said, hey, it's construction material here, I ain't do what they did. Because they ain't do it, boo. They ain't do it. You did it. But at the same time, I probably would have did that too, because I don't want them problems. And then also the fact that you said they weren't home, that means you was like near somebody's home, possibly drove into their driveway. They might got cameras, like I said. But I would have did that too. So I ain't even mad at you, twin. Alright, so the next one says, I've stolen countless bottles of liquor from my parents. And I see right here that you're underage, boo. Alcoholics Anonymous, is that what it's called? Because baby, you need help. Let's get into it. It says, I'm 18 years old and have always been that studious, rule-following daughter my parents expected me to be. A while ago, my parents bought a new house and we are still in the process of moving. My parents and brothers live in the new house and I remained in the old. Why? I guess you were 18. Okay. After a month of temporarily living alone, I had a random urge to see if they left their alcohol in the alcohol cabinet. To my surprise, I ended up giving into the urge of wanting to experience what being drunk was like that same night. A week later, I did it again.
Again?
And and the cycle started. All of my friends had moved away to university and they were getting drunk too. I felt like I was just being a typical teenager because of that. When I threw up and blacked out for the first time, I started to question just how much I was drinking. That first time is gonna have you questioning your whole life. Let me tell you, boo. Every time you wake up after you get seriously messed up, you be like, I ain't never drinking again. Like, I've said it so many times, especially in college, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I be like, ain't doing it again, boo. I'm done. And every time, guess what? Next weekend came, did it again. But I will say, that's just college for you. But you, boo, whoever this is, you wasn't in college and you were underage. So it says, the alcohol in the cabinet was disappearing slowly and I began to experience the shame and stress that keeps you up at night. I filled the bottle up with water, which came with instant regret. If they ever drank from that bottle, they would know. They would definitely know. I have strict parents, and whenever they came to the old house to grab more belongings to transfer to the new, my fear that they will open the cabinet and find alcohol missing gnawed at me. I was breaking out from stress and I didn't want them to see what kind of a daughter I was behind the scenes. So I gave into this awful fear and told my mom a half-truth. That I had drank myself asleep once and filled the bottle up with water after. Because I confessed the truth, I was forgiven. My dad went through the liquor cabinet soon after, which brings me to the root of my new problem. I never stopped. Sure, I had quit for a month, but I quickly finished 3 more bottles that are now hiding in my room for fear that they will find them in the garbage. A lot of the bottles are a lot lower in liquor than they were when my dad checked, and a lot missing too, obviously. I'm not sure when they will go through the cabinet again, but if they realize something isn't right, they will go through every journal, app, text message, device to try to figure out why I did it. I obviously will never be allowed by myself. I will lose the privilege of having a space of my own. I think I screwed up. LOL. You definitely screwed up, but I think it was a lot smarter ways to go about that situation. Like, I don't know, have somebody else do it. But I'm not encouraging drinking on this channel. I'm not doing that. And I'm not encouraging underage drinking on this channel. Nor am I encouraging having somebody else that's overage buy the bottle. So don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. But since you did it, I feel like that was, I mean, you had other options, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you want to live in your own space and you also want to do what you're doing, you have to be smart about it. So why keep drinking your parents' stuff when you already told your mama a half truth and now they're looking even deeper into what you did? Me personally, at 18 years old, I might have just got them replaced and called it a day. Like, I might have had my little one night, maybe 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm kidding. But I would have had my one night and I would have skedaddled. You know, I would skedaddle. I would have a plan in place. I'm gonna just say that and I'm gonna leave it alone. You should have had a plan in place, boo. Especially if you still want to be staying on your own. We all want to live our own. We all want to live our own. But you gotta do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not encouraging nothing on this channel, but that's all I'm saying. Have a plan in place. Next. All right, so we're gonna do like 3 more and then we're gonna be done because I feel like this video is getting a little long, but I don't know. So the next confession reads, I purposely drove into someone's trash bin on the street. Y'all know I gotta give my opinion before I read the story. So I didn't purposely do it, but my mama had to get a new mailbox and that's all I'm gonna say. So I don't think I have too much to say about this one, but we gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. When I was maybe 16 or 17, I would go to the skate park almost every day and BMX or skate. What is BMX? Tell me down in the comments below, what is BMX? I got really good at it, and the positive is that biking is still a big part of my life and fitness. The negative was that my friends were bad influences and wreaking havoc on the public when we were outside of the walls of the skate park was a favorite pastime of ours. So first you said my friends was negative influences, but then you said it was a favorite pastime of ours, so that means you was part of the negativity and the bad influencing that was going on. So was y'all all doing it or was it just your friends? Baby, tell the truth. One day I had a few friends in my old Toyota truck and I remember we were trying to score some beer around the skate park we frequented. Y'all, why can't I say these words? It says in parentheses, Bay Area. I was driving and it was trash day, so everyone had their trash bins in the street. I was an idiot and craved attention, so when I saw what looked like a father and son jogging together, it clicked in my head that if I sped past them, I could create a scene if I drove my truck into the trash bins of a random house. I went by the joggers and crashed into 3 trash bins at once. I was going fairly quick, dented my bumper, and the bins went flying. Pretty sure I broke them and rendered them useless. In parentheses, it says, where would someone even get new ones? I'm such a D word, the 4-letter one. It says, I looked in the rear view and I always remember the father of the 2 joggers, having just seen what I'd done, raised his arms in an exasperated and angry expression. What are you doing, dude? Then he and his son picked up the trash bins. They were probably their own bins or maybe their neighbors. I drove off laughing, feeling the adrenaline of being the biggest a-hole of my friend. I've changed a lot since then. I'm now a 28-year-old male, but I feel terrible for it. If I saw that now as a grown man, I would be so confused and furious. Yeah, that was just problematic. You shouldn't did that. I mean, even at 16 or 17, like, you shouldn't did that. I don't understand. And that just confirms what I was saying. You said it was your friends. You really tried to play us like it was your friends, but really it was you and your friends. Like, you was participating and being a bad influence. And just so you know, you get a new trash bin from whoever picks up your trash, but you have to pay for it, which is wrong. So I will go back to that house because you're 28 years old. That was only about 10, 12. I'm bad at math. That was only a few years ago, maybe 10 or so. Go pay for the people trash can. I hope they still live there. I mean, they might not still live there. But that was wrong. Don't do that. I mean, you're older now, but how would you feel if somebody did that to you? You need help, but I'm glad you've matured since then and that you would be furious because what's going on, dude? Why would you do that? All right, we're gonna find 2 more to read. So this one says, I reported my classmate because of what he was looking at on his computer. It says, so in my algebra class, there's a guy I sit next to. It started off just like any other day and class just started and the teacher hasn't gone up to the board and started teaching yet. The guy next to me happened to glance at his computer and I saw him looking at something inappropriate. He was scrolling through photos of gay men and I saw one photo of 2 men holding hands and they had a condom in the middle.
What?
Another photo I saw, there were 2 men on top of each other. On one of the images he clicked on, it had an article that talked about sex. Just from where I was sitting, it made me feel pretty uncomfortable. When class ended, I went up and told the teacher about what happened and what I saw. And then I left to find my principal and report it. I told him exactly what I told the teacher and what he was looking at. And then I said what he was looking at on his computer made me feel uncomfortable. And then he said he was going to check it out. I mean, I get it. Like, I get that it made you feel uncomfortable. I still feel like it's a little snitchy, you know? I guess you didn't really have to look at it, but also if it was in your like point of view and we're in a school setting, I get it. If you did it just because they were gay, I feel like that's a bit problematic. But if you did it because the topic of sex or just seeing that made you feel uncomfortable, then okay, cool. But also the student probably shouldn't have been looking at none of that while he was at school, so I get it. I mean, it still is a little snitchy. I personally probably wouldn't say nothing. I mean, I don't have to look at it. I don't have to sit by the person. I probably would have left it alone. Yeah, we're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on, okay? This is the last story, y'all, so get ready. I'm gonna try to find a good one for y'all. All right, so it says, I got into an accident and never told my parents about it. I got into an accident when I was 16 as well, and after we finish this story, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick little story time about that, so stay tuned. It's been a few years since the accident. I was out with my friends one night and they were driving me home. A friend helped me put on my seatbelt after I kept saying I wanted it on. I really don't know, I just felt like I needed it, that I had to put the seatbelt on. I mean, I don't know why your friends were driving you home. Maybe you were drunk. I don't want to assume that because it doesn't say that, but unless you couldn't drive, I don't know. We were having a great time before the truck lost control and went off the road. It took me a minute to process what had happened. We eventually got the truck out and later another friend got me home. As I walked into the house, my father said, "Welcome home," and my mother asked me how it went. It took a lot just to push the feeling down that I could not have come home to them. I told them I had a great time, could not look at them much, told them about my day and never mentioned the wreck. I walked away on my own 2 feet. It's amazing. I couldn't tell my parents about it and I kept that to myself. It reminded me that as much as I hate my life sometimes, I don't want to let down the people who wait for me to come home. That's real. That's real. Be safe out there, y'all. Your family loves you. Drive safe. Clicker ticket. I don't blame you for that one. I don't know if you were young. I don't think it says the age, but I definitely don't blame you for that one. Especially if you were able to drive away from the accident, I guess, and it doesn't seem like any other cars were involved. You just drove off the road. I guess the car was in good condition. So honestly, I don't blame you. I probably wouldn't have said nothing either. Let me get into my quick little story time. I'm not gonna make it long, but I got into a car accident when I was 16. I actually rear-ended my ex-boyfriend, totaled my car, and I had to call my mom because my car was totaled. I couldn't just drive off. That was crazy. And every time I tell somebody I rear-ended my ex-boyfriend, they're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, were you mad at him? We're actually cool, but that did happen. I walked away fine. A little crazy. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy the video, consider subscribing to my channel below. Make sure that you guys join the crew and make it do what it do. Okay, join the crew and make it do what it do. Okay, period. Pooh. Let me know what you think about these confessions down in the comment section below. Make sure that you turn on your post notifications so that you know whenever I post a new video. All gas, no break. Stay blessed and not stressed, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Adios muchachas. Bye.